Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Recipe with Dr. Stepheny Finnie. It is my hope that through each segment, you will receive ingredients to live your best life. One seasoning I'm personally passionate about is in the area of health and wellness. In fact, I host an Instagram live titled, Do You Know What's in Your Feminine Care? But I will speak more about this at the end of the show. Today's special guest is a wife, a mother, an author, and CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations Travel Agency. Welcome to the recipe, Miss Yolanda Costello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great actually. How are you?
I am blessed. I'm blessed, and I'm so happy that you're here today.
Amen. Well, I'm glad that you have me on your show. I'm blessed to be here as well.
Well, please tell everyone who you are, what you do, and why.
I'd love to. So my name is Yolanda. I am the owner, CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations, and I'm a travel consultant. I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and I book travel for all your travel needs. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada, and we service internationally. So we love to travel, and we love our clients, and we love to book our clients' travel.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, before we get into the travel, you are also an author and you recently wrote a book in 2020. Could you please provide some details on your book and tell us what motivated you to write it?
Awesome. Yeah, actually, this is the book. I'm a co-author, Soulful, Secrets of Faith, Love, and Walking in Purpose. So thank you for plugging that. Actually, I just had the book right here handy. And a good friend of mine actually just got a bunch of us together to write about our experiences and our journey through entrepreneurship. And really just through my faith, 'cause I am a believer, I really was led to, be in entrepreneurship. So this book also talks about my journey, the hurdles, the obstacles that I've gone through, amongst other people in the book as well, have spoken about their struggles, their obstacles through entrepreneurship. Lots of golden gems, things that I've learned and I'm still learning on the way. And you know what? There might be a part two. I'm really considering it. It was a great time writing this book. It was a little scary. It was my first book, but definitely probably not the last.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I find that interesting when you step out of your comfort zone to do something like that. I've heard some people tell me you should write a book, and I'm like, oh, don't think I'm ready for that, but I commend you.
It's, you know what, it's not easy. And really, it was one of those things where I just prayed for a download and I just sat at my table and I just said to the Lord, I need a download. I need something to talk about. I just don't want to just write about anything that just comes to my
Mhm.
mind. I really want something that's fruitful and something that will bless somebody else. And honestly, the download came and it came with vengeance. And I was on, like, I must have written about 2 to 3 pages within an hour and a half, and then I just kind of had to just work it through, twerk it a bit, and it actually worked out to being such a great read. I was so proud of myself, and my family were also really proud of me as well. And a lot of people are saying, "Hey, you may want to consider writing something." So it's in the thought process right now. So we'll see.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, in reference to travel, what inspired you to first become a travel agent and then move into a business owner within this field?
Great question. Actually, that was never really my actual direction for career wise. I went to university. I have a BA. I have a degree,
Okay.
and this job actually was just a means to pay off my tuition. I didn't want to borrow money from the government, so I worked and I got paid very well. I learned through professors that actually taught travel and tourism. So it's like I got this free education, this free training. I got certified and I became a travel agent. And I worked for a company out here in Canada for over 15 years. And we grew into this great platform where we offered packages and vacations to exclusive and luxury resorts all around the world. And then I pretty much got laid off at that job. So that was my push where I heard the whisper, get into entrepreneurship. And I've been feeling that push for about maybe to 3 years prior to me being let go from my other company due to just layoffs and downsizing. So, once that happened, I was kind of already doing the entrepreneurship. So I was in it already a year in, and then I got let go. So God had a plan, and I just, purposed myself and positioned myself to say, okay, I'm going to do it, with the help of my husband, really inspired me to just, what do I have to lose, right? So I invested, and it's been a blessing for the past 4 years now.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm glad you have a great support system because that means a lot.
Yes, absolutely. In entrepreneurship, it could be a very lonely journey. And so definitely to have the backing of your family is extremely important. And I have the backing of my family. So it's been a blessing, and it's been a great journey so far.
Okay. So you actually answered my next question about how long I've worked in the travel industry. So I guess my next question would be, what do you consider the biggest challenge of working in the field of travel?
Well, right now, the opportunity of working with different people is amazing. I'm a social butterfly, so I love to network. I love to connect, as you already know, and I enjoy just, it's not about it's not about necessarily just meeting people. It's the connection. It's the experience that I want people to have with me as well. I'm not just trying to make money off of you. I really want you to have a true experience. And a lot of the times, people will even say to me, man, that, your service fees are really low, or this is really low, or you're giving such a great price. And a lot of the times it's just because, you know what, I understand where you're coming from. I was too there back in the day, prior to being a travel rep and, wanting to travel the world and not having enough money to travel because it's so expensive to go to different destinations. So I really want to make that experience for that customer, and even helping them and educating them on how to save for that future travel trip. So, for me, it's just been just an amazing journey, really. And I find that, working with people and really trying to cater to certain needs can be a little bit difficult sometimes, because some people are looking for specific things, and I understand that. And it's just a matter of being just listening, just being patient, just understanding your customer. But overall, I don't really feel like I've had any major issues with anybody that I've worked with. I think all of my customers have been amazing, and I've just had just really great experiences so far. I mean, there are things that happen here and there. There are glitches, there are issues,
Yes.
but it's just a matter of how myself as a travel consultant works through that and helps them to get to work through that as well. Other than that, it's been pretty good so far. And that was my concern, because I used to work for somebody. So if anything really went wrong, I could always go to the boss, but I'm by myself. So
Yeah.
I am
You
the
are the
boss.
boss.
So really, truly, I had to make sure. And even though I actually am, I work alongside a host agency which oversees hundreds of different travel reps. So I do hire them. They're called the travel agent next door, and they take care of everything for me as far as the back end stuff, my website, invoicing. They take care of all of that for me. So I hire them, and they come alongside me. So at the same time, I do have a little bit of backup, but I am the boss. So I really, really try to make the experience exceptional, and really just let my clients know all fees up front so that I don't get any backlash. And so far, so good.
Great.
Yeah.
I heard you mention when you talked about your education that you had gotten some certifications, or you were certified. Can you explain what you mean by certification as far as
Right.
the field of travel is concerned?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So, in the province of Ontario, I'm in Toronto, Canada. So I live in the province of Ontario. You are required to be TICO certified. That's under the Travel Industry Council of Ontario. So in order to sell travel, you just can't just pick up, any sort of travel app and start offering people travel for a fee. You actually have to be certified legally in order to sell travel within Ontario, or to sell travel, to sell travel anywhere if you're living in the province of Ontario. So I do have my certification for travel, and if anything happens, like, people could report me if they needed to, or they can find out stuff about me, and that's a good protection thing for clients as well, because if anything happens to any of my clients, if they're traveling internationally, or if something happens when they're at destination, under the Travel Industry Council of Ontario, they could actually file a claim against them because they are insured as well as my client. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're living. You're insured as my client. So if something happens and you book a travel through me as an Ontario travel rep, then if you needed to file a claim against something that happened, then yes, you can file a claim through the TICO insurance and, and possibly get money back or a portion of your money back, depending on the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any expertise in a specific area of travel?
Well, as travel consultants, we do get certifications with specific destinations. You can get certified as a Jamaican travel specialist, which I am. You can get certified as a sandals representative, which I am. Disney specialist. So I do have a number of different certifications, and you can do that on a yearly basis to get yourself up to date because they're always doing new things at these resorts. So they're always doing different things, in different countries, right? So you want to keep yourself up to date with what's going on in those specific countries. And then, of course, we have the Association of Canadian Travel Agents out here in Canada. So I'm a part of that as well, which they provide you with constant training, giving you updates on what's happening in the world, as well as, what's going on just for travel on a whole with the airline, with cruising, with hotels. So, it's a whole, umbrella of things that, we get information on and upkeep our certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tuned into something that you were hosting in 2020. I think it was a Zoom type thing, and it was with sandals. And it was really good. I was really impressed. I had never attended anything like that virtually. And you had a representative there that actually was at Sandals that talked about the resort and all the amenities. And I was like, oh, wow, this is neat. I didn't know you offered that type of service.
Yeah. We had somebody from the Jamaican Tourist Board, and we had a representative business development manager for Sandals as well. And we come alongside each other, and that's the beauty of being in the industry. We're all here to try to support each other. And so we come alongside each other, and we really just talk about our products, what we have to offer. We support each other, and we showcase what's happening. And so that's the beauty. We're all in the same industry, but marketing different brands, but still coming together and being able to offer our mutual clients a great experience.
Got it. So, what's your biggest motivation to succeed as a travel agency owner?
Well, my biggest motivation is really to just make sure that my clients are having a fantastic time. I am just enjoying my travel. I'm really looking to do different things as well. I'm looking to venture into different avenues of my business. I'm not going to really speak too much on that. I'm still in the works of thinking that out. But I have something on my mind for a long time, and I really want to really open up my business to different avenues of travel. I mean, we can book pretty much anything, and we have. But and I'm a small company. I don't have too many employees, but we're trying to really do different things as opposed to just, and that's why the Divinely Bliss Vacation name is there. We want to make sure that everybody's having a divine experience wherever they are going. But I also want to look at looking at different avenues of my business and really just kind of cookie cutting it to different things. I'm just making up words.
That's okay. You're good.
So we're cookie cutting it so that we could actually have different areas of the business that people are calling in for, could definitely experience. But I mean, at this point in time, we're just kind of like a melting pot of different products that we offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So under the Divinely Bliss Vacations umbrella, what is your definition of outstanding customer service?
Yeah, well, you know what? I think it's very important to be authentic and to create that connection. A lot of customers are handing over thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, and really they have to trust you. They have to be able to know you and trust you. Knowing you, yes, they meet you for the most part. A lot of my clients I do know, but you'll get those referrals, and they just know you based off of word for mouth. So you really have to build that connection, that experience. And usually when I have conversations, I try and connect on Zoom. I feel that it's important that your customers see you, or I can meet with them in my office once we're open. With COVID, things have shut down a bit. But, Zoom has allowed us to really have that still personal connection through the online app. And, and having that, discussion and talking about why are you traveling? What's the purpose of your travel? So that the customers feel that you really care. And I do, because I love to travel. And that's the experience that I would want as well as a travel rep. I want people to feel that, that I care for them and I'm really interested in getting them something, not just, okay, let's just book you here and get you on your way. But we want to book the best travel and not necessarily cheap. A lot of my clients come to me and go, I'm looking for something cheap. I go, you don't want cheap, you want economical. Let's change the wording. Let's change the wording because I don't want to. I can send you cheap and you're not gonna like it. So you want economical. We can still find you something that's very nice that fits into your budget. So I always like to create that experience. I like to get people excited. Just something that I know would excite me and what I would expect from a travel rep. I give that to my customers.
I'm sure that results in repeat clients too.
Yes, absolutely. So I do have a lot of repeat clients. They're all amazing and I really appreciate their business and I really appreciate their support as well.
I want to pause and acknowledge a couple of guests. Miss Lisa Dene, thank you for joining us. She says hello. And we also have Melissa Case that commented on something you said, and she stated that trust is key for sure.
Yes.
And then we have another question. Hey, Miss Ashley, she says, question. I had a horrible experience with an agent and there was absolutely zero communication. How can a person check their agent's history prior to booking other than word of mouth?
Wow. Well, it depends. So the unfortunate thing, I know that within Ontario, it's just a matter of, like I mentioned earlier, calling the TICO Association to find out, is this a legitimate agency? But I think the most important thing is now, Google is your friend. There's a lot of ways to really find out, and because a lot of people are leaving reviews on different types of platforms. So you want to just Google the person, see if you could find them on Facebook, see if they have a review section, if they have any commentaries, if anybody has left any, recommendations. If not, if there's no social media platform, Instagram, if there's nothing there, and your experience with them from the beginning seems a little bit, off balance, then I would probably say, maybe check with somebody else and even see if anybody else has booked with this agent because somebody must know who this person is. That's a horrible thing to hear. And I don't believe it speaks for a lot of travel reps. The network that I'm in, I have a wonderful network of travel reps where we support each other and they're fantastic. And I know that their clients love them as well. So, when you hear about one bad rep that, kind of ruins it for everybody else and, everybody else is sketchy because of that one experience. And I understand that. And I have clients that have come to me saying, I don't know, I've had a bad experience. So I don't know what makes you different. I really try to bring that experience, that sort of level of confidence and trust so that they know, okay, she knows what she's doing and, she's the real deal. Regardless of the situation, people will always have questions. People will always have concerns. People will always have doubts. And I get that. It's up to me to really, give those people that trust and that understanding that I'm here for you, not necessarily for me. I mean, yes, it's a business, but at the same time, you're trusting me with your life and thousands of dollars to send you on a vacation. I would hate that you spent all this money and then you get there and you're like, this was horrible. So I think it's important that, you definitely do your research, background checks, social media checks now. Social media is everywhere and you can, verify and see who this person is.
Great answer. Great response.
Awesome.
So how do you keep up with the latest travel industry news and trends?
Well, we're always getting updates daily. I always get daily updates through email. I belong to a different amount of associations. I get emails, I get subscriptions. So we're always keeping up to date with what's happening, especially with COVID. It's extremely important because I have several, customers traveling this year. So I'm always keeping up to date with what's going on in their countries, just worldwide on a whole, because you just never know when that customer calls you, and they're looking to go somewhere, at least you'll have that information at the tip of your finger. So I'm always getting information up to date daily on what's going on in the world, what's going on even in my country, what's going on in the United States, what's going on in Europe, just so that I can be on top of things when my clients call me. They're asking questions about, I want to go here. What's it like traveling if I'm vaccinated or if I'm not vaccinated? So, I have those details available for them. So I'm always, doing research. I'm always, reading up on what's happening in the world. And then I'm accessing the government websites as well, because those are extremely important tools that will give you up-to-date information as to what's going on in whichever country you're planning to travel from and go to.
Okay. Well, let's take this time to go to a commercial, and then we will be back with Miss Yolanda Castello, CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations.
Hey, it's your girl Lisa Dene, and I want to tell you about a product that has changed my life. Rain Premium Sanitary Napkins. Rain products are infused with a Nobel Prize-winning material called graphene. It's the graphene strip that provides the various health benefits that can improve your quality of life during that time of the month. Listen, I've been very loyal to a certain brand of feminine products, but I've never experienced the results I get with Rain products. The difference is in the graphene strip. Using Rain products has totally eliminated the painful cramps I experience, and it can also help balance your body's pH, eliminate harmful bacteria, and help fight fatigue. Graphene moves heat away from your core to keep you cool and comfortable. Ladies, it's time to upgrade your feminine care with products that not only offer protection, but also improve your health and wellness. Place your order today and receive your premium sanitary napkins delivered directly to your door. Visit www.drfcare.com to make your purchase today. And don't forget to mention that your girl Lisa Dene and Stunner Radio sent you.
Hello, everyone. Caught you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Recipe with my special guest, CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations, Miss Yolanda Castello.
Hi, everyone.
So you mentioned COVID earlier, and I'm glad you did, because I definitely have some questions in reference to that. How has travel insurance changed because of COVID? And I'll get to my next question, why I state travel insurance, but that's a question I personally have.
Yeah, absolutely. Before, because of this pandemic, really, there wasn't anything implemented within the insurance policies that would actually cover such a pandemic like COVID. So really, it was kind of conflicting and difficult for a lot of the insurance companies to offer any kind of refund that would fall under the policy. I mean, literally, if every insurance company refunded everybody in the world, they would go bankrupt. I mean, a lot of people were like really upset that they weren't able to get a refund. They bought insurance, and I get that, but certain policies just couldn't do it. And in a way, from the perspective from the client, I do get it, because at the time within Canada, anyways, they were not refunding, so they were only offering future travel credits. So some people had tens of thousands of dollars, locked up in future travel credits. A lot of people, got laid off. So I understand a lot of people required that money, but it was just not feasible and not practical for the insurance companies to do that. Now, of course, within the past several months, a lot of the companies out here in Canada are now offering refunds, because they got government assistance to assist and bail them out so that they're able to refund clients. But last year, that wasn't the case. But with regards to insurance now, a lot of the insurance company has implemented a COVID-19 insurance. I know a lot of the companies, especially out here in Canada, they offer COVID-19 protection insurance. So when you're traveling and you book your package, you don't even have to pay additional for that. So a lot of the packages come with that. It's a way to stimulate and encourage travel, so that if anything happens, they'll cover your expenses. If it's due to COVID, your travel expenses, your hotel expenses, your quarantine expenses at destination if something does happen while you're away. And they do have, a lot of the insurance companies, Global Alliance, Manulife, they do have an additional COVID-19 insurance separate from the regular insurance plan. So you can purchase that on top of regular insurance, which will cover you in the event of, medical expenses. If anything happens to you while you're at destination. So, I mean, they do have coverages now that people can buy on top of what they already have. for that additional coverage just in case something happens. So there was an exclusive COVID-19 coverage for insurance now.
Okay. Well, I cruise before COVID yearly. And I guess with insurance, you know, we always got the insurance because the thought was we need insurance in case something happens and we can't get back in time, or something happens and we can't make it because a flight, you know, doesn't connect in time, etc. So we always had that. But that being said, in reference to cruising and other individuals that like to cruise like me, how has that changed due to COVID? Because I'm not ready to cruise yet, but I know that they're opening up cruises now.
Yeah, absolutely. The cruise industry has gone above and beyond with regards to really protecting their clients during travel, and and especially during this COVID pandemic season that we're in. And a lot of them, what they've done is they've pushed back a lot of their cruising. So from last year, I believe cruising is now only starting to really commence. August. I believe maybe a few might be in July, but really we're starting to see a lot ending of August, September, October for this year. And then pretty much looks like it's pretty much open for all of next year. A lot of the cruise lines are starting to offer packages for next year. And definitely they're recommending only fully vaccinated travelers to go on cruises. They're not saying that non-vaccinated passengers can't go on cruises, but it's just highly recommended if you're fully vaccinated to travel on cruises at this point in time. There isn't any rhyme or reason to it, but more or less they just want to make sure that people feel protected. And the premise is that if you're not vaccinated, you're more easily able to catch COVID and spread it on a ship, because a ship, you're in smaller quarters, more closer contact, of course. If you've ever been on a cruise, you'll understand that. So it's extremely important that they put their customer safety first. So that's sort of what the CDC is also recommending as well on their website. If you're going to be traveling on a cruise specifically, that you should be in this season, for the first part of this season anyways, fully vaccinated passengers. But it's a recommendation. So it's not a mandate or anything like that.
So you spoke to cruising specifically. So I guess my question is, this global vaccination effort for cruises, is that pretty much the same with other areas of travel? Or I guess, what's the deal with testing requirements for travel, period? Whether it's cruising, whether it's resorts, Yeah.
Yeah, with resorts, it's a little bit better because they're offering free testing at a lot of the resorts.
Oh,
So
okay.
72 hours before you return back home, you can get a free test at a lot of the resorts. Sandals is offering it, the Royal Tins are offering it, the Grand Palladiums, like a lot of the really well-known resorts out there are offering. Again, they're trying to really stimulate travel. So they know that this is like an Achilles heel for a lot of people to get tested, and the cost of testing. Because last year, what happened was people were still traveling, even during the shutdown. Like, the borders were still open. I actually traveled in September as well. I went to Mexico, and they didn't have all of this stuff there. So I believe what may have happened, as soon as the countries like the US and Canada start to implement more stringent restrictions on travel, it was costing people like $200 and all kinds of money to get tested, because people needed to get tested before they got home. So smart on the hotel industry and the resort industry to think about a better way to assist their customers. So they offered this free testing, that when you come to their resort, they'll offer you free testing. So you just have to book it. Once you get there 72 hours before you leave, you'll get a COVID test, a rapid COVID test, and then you'll be able to take that with you when you're boarding the plane to go back home, wherever you're from. But for the most part, travel does require 72 hours testing, and returning home 72 hours as well, testing, so that it shows that you're a negative COVID test as well. And just another note, I know you didn't really ask that, but for Canadian travelers, we used to have this mandate that when you came back to Canada after travel, you had to quarantine in a hotel. So they had quarantine hotels, and you had to quarantine for 3 days until the test came back negative. And then if it did, then you were allowed to quarantine and finish your quarantine at another residence for the remaining of your quarantine, which is a total of 14 days combined with the 3-day stay. Now, as of August 9th, the Canadian government has now loosened those restrictions, so Canadians can now travel out of the country and come back without having to stay in a hotel. However, the quarantine, 14-day quarantine restriction still remains. So, I mean, but that's really a blessing, for in disguise for us as Canadians, because nobody really wanted to travel and then come back and stay in a hotel and spend like thousands of dollars, which really it was the cost to stay in a hotel. Otherwise, if you refuse, you'd get fined. So there was a lot of things going on out here that a lot of people, it was really inhibiting people to travel. So now that, a majority of Canadians have gotten their vaccinations, the government has decided to loosen those restrictions and allow people to travel and come back freely. But you still have to take that 72-hour COVID test before and after you come back home.
Okay. Have you heard of something called a COVID-19 vaccine passport?
Yeah, it's a word that's buzzing around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, will these vaccine passports be required to travel? Have you heard anything? Can you give us a scoop?
Who's listening here? No, I'm just joking. I don't have any special information. Yeah, I don't want any black SUVs rolling up in the front of my yard anytime soon. No, I'm just joking. It's a buzzword for sure. I know the European Union has implemented that within their own countries. COVID-19 passports. I know it's in the talks. As far as having this passport, and it's more or less to help identify those who have their COVID vaccines, and if they had COVID, when the last time they tested, it just makes things a lot easier as far as travel. For people that want to travel, all they have to show is this COVID-19 vaccine, and then it's just like, basically they're trying to say it's just like pre-COVID. Like once you show it, it's just like showing a passport, then nothing happens. But anybody else that doesn't have this COVID passport, or they do have it but they don't have the vaccine, there might be a bit more restrictions. But nothing has been mandated as of yet. But definitely it's in the talks, and more than likely it's probably going to roll down the chain soon enough. Now that travel is opening, I'm sure before the end of the year, I would probably say we'll probably get some information on COVID-19 passports. And I believe Biden in the U.S. I heard something that he may be mandating that possibly. They're in discussions of possibly mandating a COVID-19 passport. So that may be happening down the line soon enough. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's the era that we're in, and hopefully, the governments, whether it's Canada, US, Europe, wherever, they're really looking into really making sure that they're assisting and looking in the best needs of the people of the country, right? Like hopefully, they're considering our best needs, and I'm sure that's what it is. So we'll just have to see what happens. Until now, we're just traveling, and if you have your vaccine, a lot of the times people just travel with a copy of that just to show, and that seems to work well for a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah. That kind of answers some of my next question, where I was thinking, what general health and safety protocols should travelers expect moving forward? So I guess it probably one of those is to just, if you've been vaccinated, just go ahead and bring the card that shows the vaccination information, where, the date. Is there any other type of, health and safety protocols that we should expect moving forward that you know of or foresee?
Yeah, no, as far as just like I said, the COVID vaccine passport is a possible thing that they're going to be implementing. But as far as vaccinations and your COVID tests, those are the primary things that are required for travel when you're leaving and coming into the country. But I always leverage your travel rep if you have a travel rep, because they'll do all that research for you. You don't have to, because it's so confusing. There's so much information out there.
Yes.
And you want to make sure you're looking at the right information, because, I've had people come back and tell me things, and then I realize that they're looking at something that was like posted in March of 2020. Like that, like that's old information. So leverage your travel reps because they're up to date with what's going on, because they have people traveling now and they have to do the research now. So they will be able to give you right information. Also go on your government website. That is a best form of information to CDC. Also great form of information, because all that is where we're getting our information from anyways, right? And you have to leave and enter into a country. So you want to just verify, make sure that that country has, their safety protocols listed and that you have the information that is required, because some countries you do need to fill out a travel authorization form. You have to fill it out with all the information regarding, testing and, whatever it is that is required to enter into that country prior to even going on the plane. So you want to make sure that you're accessing that information at least a month before you travel, so that you're feeling confident, you're feeling safe, and you're feeling like, okay, I'm not going to be turned away when I get to the airport, because that has happened as well. So, definitely leverage, your travel reps, or, like I said, go to the government website that you're, for the country that you're traveling to.
Okay. So one more question before we go to break.
Yeah.
You mentioned government assistance. So what type of government assistance is happening to help small businesses in the area of travel, or what type of aid programs are available to travel agencies from the federal government?
Right. So I know, I'm not sure what's happening in the US, but I know within Canada, there are some small business grants and loans that they've been offering. Travel reps have had a hard time accessing those loans, from what I understand, because of the industry that they're in. It doesn't necessarily qualify under the small business grants. It's a lot of red tape. So we do have a lot of people in the industry working on our behalf. The Association of Canadian Travel Agents, IATA, all these different companies that work in the industry to assist not only travel reps, but pilots and stewardess and, all those people as well were also laid off in the travel industry. So, with, the travel, storefronts and stuff like that. So these are all people that, also require some sort of financial assistance as well. But there are some things happening slowly but surely. I believe a couple months ago, some storefront agencies were able to get, about a $20,000 loan that was able to assist them in rebuilding their business again for travel, because it is starting to happen now. People are booking. So, but that came really late in the game. So, it was a struggle for a lot of people for almost a good year before we see anything funneling down, financially for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, let's take a break, and then we will be back with my special guest, Ms. Yolanda Castello, CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, comedian actress Coca Brown. And I got to give a huge shout out to my girl, Dr. Stepheny Finnie, because she put me on. To the Jewel sanitary napkin. These babies are amazing. Not only are they good to me, they're good for me. Not only do they help with absorption, moisture control, and protection, because yes, sometimes I like to wear white, but these babies also have a great ingredient called graphene that helps with cramps. Huh? Are you kidding me? So you're telling me that I'm protected and I can control my moods a little bit? I love it. So please make sure you hit up my girl, Dr. Stepheny Finnie. They have a variety of sizes for every kind of flow, whether it's heavy, light, overnight, she got you. So make sure you hit up my girl, Dr. Stepheny Finnie, and get you some Jewel sanitary napkins today. I strongly endorse these, honey, especially if you're like me. You need all the help you can get for that time of the month. All right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Recipe with my special guest, Ms. Yolanda Castello, CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations.
Hello.
So, a few questions for you. What's your favorite place to travel?
Oh. Well, that's a good question. Actually, my husband and I were blessed to go to Tahiti. It's been, I would have said Turks and Caicos, because when my husband and I got married, we were conflicted on where do we go to Bora Bora, Tahiti, or do we go to Turks and Caicos? And so we decided to go to Turks and Caicos, and we loved that. We met great people who we're friends with to this day. So I always say, you know what, that was a blessing in disguise, because we went anywhere else, we wouldn't have met these people. So We love Turks and Caicos, but yeah, I would have to say last year, just before COVID happened, we were blessed to go to Tahiti on a Tahitian cruise, or we toured the island, the Society Islands. So we went to like 5 different islands, and that was absolutely amazing and breathtaking. I would definitely recommend that for anybody, anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite tip for traveling?
That's a good question. Wow, you got some good ones here. I have a lot of tips because I do that a lot on Instagram. I have my travel tips on Instagram, but I would probably say the most important thing really, I mean, outside of having fun when you go on vacation, because things do happen, just make sure you have, I would always say recommend a carry-on. A lot of people don't really like to bring anything with them. They just check in their suitcase and they're light-handed, right? They want to go on the plane without nothing. But the problem is sometimes things happen, things, even if it's a direct flight, suitcases somehow, I don't know how it happens, but they do get lost or they get misplaced. So, and I've seen this happen on a direct flight where a few people lost their luggage. I've seen it happen even within my own family. I've seen things happen where people have lost their luggage, and it was a direct flight. And you'd think, well, it's a direct flight. How do you lose a luggage? Well, it happens.
Yes.
So I always recommend people bringing on an additional carry-on with at least 2 to 3 days worth of clothing in it. Your sandals, your bathing suit, 1 or 2 pairs of shoes, just in case, because, a lot of people don't think about that. You want to make sure, because if you don't have any, especially if you don't have any insurance, then you're pretty much out of pocket of expenses, right? Because you're not going to, how are you going to go swimming? How are you going to, you're really going down in just like comfortable clothing. No bathing suit, no shorts, no flip-flops, so you want to make sure you have that handy at least. And usually, most of the time, they're able to find the luggage and bring it to you within 48 to 72 hours. But at least you'll have something to cover you for those days, and also make a copy of your passport just in case your passport gets lost or stolen.
Okay. And, I can just imagine, if you did lose your luggage and you didn't have a carry-on with some immediate things, that would just ruin the whole trip.
Yes. And just a small little experience that happened with someone that I met on vacation. They lost, the airline lost their luggage, and she was crying. We were probably on day 4 and no suitcase.
Oh no!
And I believe what may have happened is the suitcase was mailed back to the house. So because it might have gone somewhere else, and by the time the suitcase got back, it was only a 7-day vacation. There was no possible way for the suitcase to be back on. So yeah, she was crying, and it was just like I had to comfort her. I remember that situation. It was horrible, right? Because you have specific things. I was down there for a conference, so she was there. I'm down there for the same conference, and she had specific things for the conference, clothing, material, and everything was in that suitcase. So, it's really hard to try and have a good time and put yourself in that frame of mind if you don't even know where your suitcase is, and it may have important things in there that you brought with you. I mean, the good thing is that they found it, but unfortunately they weren't able to return it back to the country that we were at the time, because, by the time it got back here, we would have already have left. So she had to pay out of pocket and get clothing for several days in order for her to, enjoy her vacation, really. So it is very extremely important to have that, that additional carry-on that has at least 2 to 3 days worth of clothing. It's definitely worth it just in case.
Great tip after hearing that. What are some popular destinations for this time of year?
Popular. Well, I can tell you Mexico has been popular, especially last year, because Mexico had no restrictions. So everybody was going to Mexico. You didn't even have to take a COVID test. Like, it was just, it was just such a wide open place. And when I had gone, I felt like it was like pre-COVID. It was great. But they were actually also not being negligent as well. I mean, they still were wearing masks. They were still spraying down. They sprayed down your suitcase. You had hand sanitizers and, and dispensers throughout the resort. So, and they assigned seating, they did social distancing. So the resorts were actually complying with, the regulations as well to make people feel safe. People were wearing their mask on the resort. It was really good. But definitely Mexico would be popular. Jamaica's popular, and Dominican. I mean, those are the real popular destinations now, but definitely Mexico and Jamaica seem to be the leading destinations at this point in time for travel. And that could be also due to the lacks of entry requirements. I mean, it's not as stringent as it would be for maybe other Caribbean islands. So it just gives people more freedom and flexibility, even for those that are not vaccinated, to travel to those destinations without feeling that restriction, right? So.
Okay. So tell me about how you create tour packages for company trips.
Well, it depends. So I've done corporate groups as well in the past, depending on their niche. So, and I have an affiliation of, different tour companies that I work with. So again, just like at the beginning when I spoke about making those connections with the customers, well, you're also making those connections with, those tour operators, those companies that you're going to be working alongside with, that's going to be assisting you while you're helping your clients on this trip. So, with those connections, we come together, put our heads together, and the client's looking for something, whether it's a tour and they're looking for a package with a flight, we come together with these different tour companies and we just build a package based on the needs of the client. And generally, it's always good especially if it's a group, you always want to give at least a minimum of 6 months to a year advance notice when you're booking groups, because with group packages, it's you're booking more than 10 people. That's what's considered a group in the travel industry, and in some cases it could be also at least 4 to 5 rooms. So when you're booking that many people, 10 to 20 people, not everyone's going to be able to afford thousands of dollars up front. So you want to make sure that you're giving people at least 6 months to a year advance notice so that they can put down their minimal deposit, and then it gives them time to pay off for their package, because trying to get everybody to put down money at the same time can be quite difficult, especially if you're doing weddings or if you're doing, renewal of vows or whatever group package you're doing. You want to make sure you're giving people 6 months to a year in order to save up for that vacation, because then it becomes more stressful on the person, on the group coordinator that's organizing the group for their friends or for their family, because of course the cost that comes alongside that. So a year, even like up to almost a year and a half, it's just less stress for you. You can let people know this is what we're looking to do, and people are prepared to spend $2,000, $3,000 in a year and a half because they have time to build that. So, that's kind of what I do with, the different companies that I work with. When we are building packages together, we want to make sure that clients have enough time to put down their deposits, and then we just work together to build a really nice package that's suitable for the client.
Is that the same approach you use when planning a complex itinerary?
Yes. Well, complex itineraries, it depends. But they're complex because I use different tour operators. So when we're building a package, like for one package I did a package to Dubai for a group of 50 people. So we used several different tour operators. But again, because of the connections and the network that I have, it was very easy to work with those people, working with, the companies in Dubai and letting them know this is what the client is looking for. And you also have to be very well organized. I mean, that's extremely important because you have to keep track of everybody, keep track of everybody's money, keep track of what everybody put down. So you have to make sure, right? Because let's just be honest, people are just giving you money, and not everybody is keeping track of what they're giving you or what they're spending. And all the times you have to be that person to say, okay, here's your invoice. And that's what I generally do. I make sure that with every payment, I send a customer an invoice that shows what they paid, the date that they paid it, and how much is remaining, so that they can keep track of their expenses as well. And it also assists me in making sure that I know this is what this client is owing by this specific date. So yeah, it's, with complex itineraries, we really try to make sure that we're ensuring that the client themselves have an organized system when they're making their payments, and at the same time, we're giving them enough time to make their payments and making it more structured for them as well.
Okay. Well, with people, being cooped in, indoors because of COVID, I'm sure that there have been some clients that are looking for romantic getaways. What type of recommendations would you have for such clients? Again, looking maybe just a couple looking for a romantic getaway. I'm thinking for myself.
Absolutely. I'm thinking for myself too. And it's funny because when clients are booking their travel with me, I'm like, I need to go away too, because this is like, this is so beautiful. I need to do this for myself,
Yes.
So, but yeah, usually I would just recommend, if you're looking for a quick getaway, depending on where you're at, anywhere like the, Bahamas, Jamaica. I always refer clients that are looking to go away for 3 or 4 nights, go to a destination that you can go to quickly and come back home quickly. It doesn't take you like 6 hours to get to. So I know within North America specifically, those islands are fairly close. They're within less than 4 hours of a flight for the most part, and within the southern US even closer for you guys. So definitely, and also you also don't want to go cheap. You want to go economical. You want, if you're looking for a romantic getaway, and if it's for your birthday or anniversary or renewal of vows, whatever it is, I always recommend those romantic destinations and those romantic resorts that offer that ambience and, that aura, that love aura aspect. And a lot of them do specialize in those areas. So, Sandals, any adults only resorts for the most part are very good that way.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you specifically and about yourself and your business. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
That is a very good question. And I haven't thought that far in advance, but there's a lot of stuff going on because I wear many hats. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I'm in the process of, I've created a patent. So that's something completely outside of my travel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I know you haven't. That's another conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, I've created a patent, and so right now I'm also, along with my business, and I'm trying to get more people on so I can focus more on the patent itself. It's already patent approved, so for the U.S. So I'm really now looking to try and get this marketed and get it out there in the industry. It's already there. It's already out there. So it's protected, but I think I really want to focus on that and seeing this in the actual automobile industry within the next 5 years. That would be fantastic. My lips to God's ears.
Well, I come into agreement. That's going to happen, and that is awesome. I don't know what it is, but it sounds great.
It is great, yeah.
Well, do you have any last comments for our listeners? Anything you would like to relay as far as your business, your book, etc.? Feel free. It's your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for having me on the show. This was fantastic, great information for anyone that's listening. And I always refer back to going with a travel rep. Travel representatives, they offer you a service. And yes, anybody can book travel online and do the research, but the reality is travel consultants give you back your time. So they give you back your time in terms of with family, the research, to take away the research headache, to take away the time headache, because a lot of us are working, we're working people, we have kids in sports, or we just have children, period. And that itself is a workout. So, and then on top of that, to add research on travel and where to go, and then you're trying to figure out the reviews and understanding what is a 3-star compared to a 5-star, and all these other things out there that you don't really have 100% knowledge on. So no matter how avid of a traveler you are, I always say, even if you've traveled for several years, you want the time aspect back. It's like having a personal concierge and having somebody tend to your needs, what you want, and you still have involvement in it, but you just have somebody else doing the work for you. That's it. It's really that simple. So I always think to myself, why not have someone do the work for you? I mean, as women, we go to the spa, we get our hair done, we get our nails done. I mean, we can do it ourselves if we really wanted to, but we want to be pampered. So it's the same thing with a travel consultant. You want to be pampered. You want to have that exclusivity and like, okay, you do it all for me and I'll let you know if I like it. And that's really what it is, that connection and, and connecting with the client and letting them know, you know what, I'm giving this back to you. Let me know how you like it. And if you don't, we'll go back to the drawing board, and that's our job. We do all the research. We take away the time that you would spend trying to figure things out. There's millions of resorts out there. But, a travel rep would be able to narrow down based on what you're looking for, because there are certain resorts for certain people. Obviously, not every resort is out there is for everyone. So, and I've learned that in my years of travel and booking. I don't book the same resort for everybody. So I know I have that ear, and I'm able to assist clients based on their needs and, and their budget.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Miss Yolanda Costello, CEO of Divinely Bliss Vacations, for taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in and tell everybody about travel and, the Bliss vacation portion of it, because, I know you, so you're my Canadian connection. And I just appreciate you taking time. And I want to also thank everybody who listened or tuned in, and our guests who actually chimed in the chat. Thank you for taking time out of your day to connect on the recipe. Before I go, if you are on Instagram, please connect to my IG Live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I provide a serving of health and wellness in the area of feminine healthcare. And for any men out there, please do not shy away from this topic, because if you have important women in your life, you also need to know about this information. Well, that's it for me, everyone. Again, I hope you enjoyed this segment of the recipe. And now I'm going to allow singer, songwriter, television personality, and founding member of Sisters with Voices, Lily from SWV, to provide her endorsement of Rain, previously known as Jewel Feminine Care. See you next time on The Recipe, as I bring you all of the ingredients for living your best life.
And the packaging, it says Jewel on it. And she sent me so many different, it's for moderate flow, heavy flow. Hold on. And this was my favorite.
That is my favorite. That is my favorite.
I can always appreciate an overnight, but what I was really impressed by was the length, how long it was.
And how it's not as thick.
If you guys still get those healthy friends, sometimes that thing could just be out of control and never do what you asked it to do. It'd be all over the place. But honestly, I had absolutely no problems at all. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate this product so good, because a lot of people, they want to send you stuff, and it's like, okay, you want to believe in everybody, but everybody's product is not a good product, especially something when it comes to feminine hygiene and sanitary this and you got to be very careful, because sometimes, whatever the stuff is made with, it don't always agree with your body chemistry. But I had absolutely no problems, and I wouldn't even say this if I didn't mean it. I gave the girls in my podcast, they use it. My podcast member, she don't even use sanitary napkins. She's like a tampon girl. Mm-hmm. But she really appreciated this, and I thought, I have to tell you this. I couldn't wait to get on here to tell you this. So for everybody that's on here that's still going through them, getting those monthly visitors, please support Dr. Finnie's business. I tried it myself, and I loved it.
Wow. Thank you so much.